All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Canadian Esports Championship Series. My name's Wes Rambo. I'm joined by Intact. We are in a series right now, a best of three. Scoop City won the first game of the best of three here on the red side. They had a pretty ridiculous game, honestly, Intact in all ways. But in particular, you got to highlight Dinsbag up in that top lane with Set. We're gonna see if a ban comes through there onto that
Well,
champion
they're
as well.
still gonna ban his Darius, that's for sure. Wonder what else he's got in his pocket. Even if the set gets banned, I bet he has something else for us.
Definitely not the only thing left in Dinsbag's bag of tricks, but it is the same bands. Casually Reformed going for the Lee Sin, the Darius, the Malzahar. Those are the three champions they really do not want to play against here. And Anivia, Leona, Hecarim on the other side, pretty much the same as we saw. So these are just bands up against comfort picks of the players on the opposing team. And there we go, Set coming in, and
So, first pick.
Casually
That's
Reformed seem,
really bold to pick your top laner first. That is
yeah.
begging for some sort of huge response here.
Yeah, but the fact Casually Reformed let it through does tell me that they've got something ready to go. Caitlyn Morgana is picked for the bot lane of Casually Reformed, going for that combo.
Are we going to see a little bit of a run back here? Not necessarily a full run back, but things shaping up quite similar to the last game at the start of this draft. Now, interestingly, that Casual Reformed wouldn't opt to pick their top laner here, considering that the set's already been shown.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've shown two of their lanes that they didn't necessarily need to here.
Yeah, true. Maybe saving that for later on if they want to build some sort of composition. And of course, there is bot lane available to be picked now, though, for Scoop City, and Ezreal is the pick coming in for Harley, going for a complete 180 in terms of champion style. This is nothing like Samira from last game, so Harley just going for some sort of poke, going for a little bit more stability down in that bot lane. We'll see what kind of support gets paired along with the Ezreal.
And Ezreal's really interesting because that kind of signals that you're not going to be playing around bot lane. You're either going to be playing towards Dinsbag or you're going to be playing towards your mid lane when you opt for something like an Ezreal on the bot side.
Yeah. And of course, playing towards Dinsbag definitely not the worst idea considering the last
Oh
uh
boy.
considering the last game. But of course, there we go. It is Thresh coming in. So interesting bot lane combo there as real Thresh, but Thresh just a
The
very good
Urgot
champion in
coming through. Now
general.
that's a
And there we
nice
go.
pick that I like to see actually.
Yeah, Urgot coming in, and we saw it banned out from the top side last time, so this time Casually Reformed get to go onto it, and we'll see if that's the answer to this, the question that is this set for Dinsbag.
Yeah, and Urgot is someone who is quite a stable pick up there on the top side. He's a little bit weak before he hits his level 9 power spike, and he can max out his W for that permanent shotgun knees. But against someone like Set, who will get low and then get a shield to save himself,
Hmm.
Urgot's ulti will do wonders, because when you get to that point, you can just nom him, you can chomp him inside your build.
Yes. Well, and of course you can, be hitting him from range. Jace, you would think would have been able to do the same, but just wasn't able to capitalize. Actually, a Mumu ban comes out. Casually Reformed really struggled against that in terms of, Jelly being able to get such confident ganks coming in and, just being so solid on that champion. So we'll see. Scoop coming in with the last ban and see what they want to do. Still
A
waiting for a
lot of
jungler to
jungle
show.
champs being taken out, but
There we go.
nothing that really stands out. Both Hecarim and actually no, Udyr has just been banned, but Hecarim is still up.
Hmm.
And if you want a strong jungler right now, you need to take that Hecarim right now, right this second, if you're catching it forward.
Definitely would like to see Hecarim. We've seen it a little bit in this league, but not nearly as much as you see it in competitive play, where it's pretty much 100% pick ban. So we'll see if that comes through. Hecarim is an option for these junglers, and they are waiting to the last second here, but
The last
instead
second, it's a
they're going for a
20.
take. Yeah, they're going for a
It
tank
really
here, going
seems
for
like he
CC.
really likes these big engage tanky throw down with somebody the opposing carry, make sure they can't move type of junglers. But the problem with that is typically, and I mean typically, they will always lose out at the end of the day against the current full clear meta. Last game though,
Yeah.
Volibear was not able to punish the Amumu, which really surprised me.
Yeah, that is something that is nice about Sejuani is that you are able to fight at least way more than someone like an Amumu could. But there we go. Kazakhs coming in, very, very different idea and something that Jelly is extremely strong on. Going to be have to watch out and not let that Kazakhs get fed.
And on top of that, in the mid lane, you're gonna find yourself. Has he been picked at? Is that the Zoe that I'm seeing?
Not locked yet. We'll see.
Oh, because
Alistar's an
if I'm
interesting
not
hover.
mistaken here, there might be the possibility they're playing around the Kazakhs at the end of the day, and it looks like they are going to be.
Hmm.
They picked an Ezreal, which signals they're not playing around bot lane. TF signals that he's going to be looking to make plays on elsewhere in the different parts of the map. So you're left with Kazakhs to
Yeah.
actually be the main focal point of this team, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and Jelly has shown some really amazing Kazakhs play, just good on mechanical junglers in general. Twisted Fate is great to set up all of the different lanes, of course. That's a really interesting idea there. We've seen we've seen Morgana already picked for support, and so Echo comes in to answer the Twisted Fate. Echo, great with pushing, great at being able to assassinate targets and being able to bully Twisted Fate out of lane. So that's what CR is going for here with Royal.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just wowed that you get to see Kazakhs in 5v5 because typically he's a champ that takes advantage more of the chaos of solo queue, right? With the
Mm-hmm.
isolation, you more tend to pick off targets who aren't coordinating with their team and look to snowball that. But I'm excited to see how he makes this work.
Yeah, a good amount of casually reformed team is squishy as well. In particular, the Morgana, Caitlyn are vulnerable to those Kha'Zix skanks. So we'll see what comes in with that. There we go. Those are the two drafts. We have Scoop City looking to close this one out 2-0. Casually reformed looking to bring us to a 1-1 score line here in week 6 of the Canadian Esports Championship Series. And we will find out who takes it right after a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to the Canadian Esports Championship Series League of Legends division. We got Scoop City up against Casually Reformed here. My name's Wes Rambo. I'm joined by Intact, and we just saw a pretty crazy game one, honestly. It was pretty
Yes, we
wild,
did.
and we're expecting some sort of craziness right off the bat in game two as well.
Well, we got something crazy. We got to pause, Wes. That's
It's so
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, so caught us all off guard. The pause gives us a little bit of time to discuss these compositions here. And Dinsbag is up on the top lane on that set once again, where he was so dominant in game one. This time, Daniel has got what he wants in the Urgot up top lane. So that matchup's going to be very interesting because Daniel really got pushed around by the set in game one, but Urgot was banned away from him. So now that he has more of a comfortable pick, we'll see if he's able to handle that set a little bit better.
Well, given how Dinsbag looked last game, that's going to be a bit of a tall order, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely is going to be. So we'll see. Like I said, Scoop City pretty much always invades. If they do a 5-point, that is the unusual play for them. And they are all grouped up here. They're
They
invading
got
bot
the
side.
hook on the form of the Thresh. If that death sentence lands and Murphy does not have his black shield, it could end up being a kill.
Casual
They are going
Reformed
to
has
spot
to
up the
expect
Caitlyn. He's
this.
the first person they meet, and Harley might be in a bit of trouble with the flash hook, but that is the dark shield, the black shield coming out, and the flash expended from Harley will get her on out of there. So a flash for flash, but that ends up favoring the Thresh because he's got Hex Flash.
Exactly. Yeah. The Hex Flash comes in, and of course, the ADC Flash is generally going to be the more prized summoner spell anyway. So Aldre definitely getting something out of that one. And of course, the other thing to kind of note is that Black Shield had to be taken by Murphy first. And so Murphy not going to be able to use that pool to leash, not going to be able to use that Q early on to do any damage in lane. Only going to have the Black Shield. So a little bit of an advantage for Scoop City here. But we have another engagement potentially coming in, and they do not know that Sean is in this bush.
That's going to be both junglers fighting over this one buff because there's no time for Sean to go anywhere else. He has to go for this one. It's going to be a 2-on-2. And in this early game, you've got to imagine this favors the set in Kha'Zix a lot. Unless he misses the smite, and he will not. Nailing the smite is Jelly, and now Dinsbag is on the offensive. Sean being chased back to his own jungle. Can he make it? Facebreaker finds him. The flash follow from both of them, and that's first blood over to Scoop City.
Why? Sorry. Why did Sean not smite at 430. Like, why didn't he
He
smite
smited
at
at like
the... He
680. That
smited
was
at like 600
crazy.
or something. I do not understand that at all. Sean had a perfectly great opportunity to steal the blue buff, but instead he just smites early for absolutely no reason. I just cannot make heads or tails of that play. But
You gotta
anyway,
imagine he's in an uncomfortable spot. His heart's racing. He
maybe.
just chokes.
Yeah.
It's just
Just...
chalking up to choke, and this man's
Oof.
choking to death in the bot lane. Maiden
Ouch.
ADC dies, level 2 power spike coming in, gets hit by the Dark Binding and gets sent straight to the gray screen.
There we go. Murphy and Harley, that Caitlyn Morgana combo with all the crowd control stacked up can be so difficult to deal with, and Maiden ADC just steps a little bit too far. Does expend the heal, not the flash. But yeah, of course, the flashes from Dinsbag and Jelly are also on cooldown, as well as Sean. So yeah, lots of flashes used at the beginning of any game that has Scoop City in it, and this game is no exception. But Dinsbag has to deal with Daniel here, and Daniel definitely is getting the better of him early on.
Definitely a much more favorable matchup this time on the Urgot rather than Jace. Jace typically, usually is used as a counter pick, I want to say, to more of these ranged matchups.
Sure. Yep. You can deal with something like Vayne top with Jace. You can deal with Vladimir. Yeah. Absolutely true. Dinsbag now has a wave pushed in. There is Daniel continuing to get that CS lead, at least a little bit of one anyway, and now has the opportunity to roam. And actually, it looks like he's going to be able to grab the scuttle. So that's a lot of map control gained so far by Casually Reformed.
And speaking of Scuttle, we're going to find ourselves a second jungle skirmish. Both of them are level 3, and that means that Jelly, he's on an even ground this time, and he's going to get taken down as the bot lane rotates over. And speaking of that, a 1-for-1 in the mid lane just opts in for the kamikaze suicide attack, and is that worth it, though?
That is the question. Bodybuilding it does very well to get that kill when Royal is flashing in on him, so that's going to be an even trade, and I think that Royal really wanted to be able to push out that wave. It is going to be in a decent spot for him, but Casually Reformed and Scoop City pretty evenly divided here. Dinsbag, though, a lot of damage.
Ooh, standing right in the center of that machine gun fire. Does happen to hit him with the center of the face breaker, though. Or not, is that the face breaker?
The Haymaker.
Haymaker.
Yeah.
My bad.
No worries. I always get them mixed up, too. I just got lucky this time. But yeah, Haymaker is the W, and Facebreaker is the...
Yeah.
Bringing them close to you. But Daniel still does come out a little bit ahead in that trade. The wave is pushed into his tower now, though, so he's got to grab what minions he can, and he is going to have a CS lead after this wave crashes. So, you know, still Urgot doing fine. Definitely a better look than last game with the Jace, and that's exactly why the Urgot got banned. It is, you know, can be very successful into
Royal
the set.
looking for a lot of these aggressive trades. Every time he's electrocute, he's going for that all-in on the bodybuilding, but usually bodybuilding can proc back the electrocute. So we're seeing these even trades, these 1-for-1s.
Yeah, exactly. 1-for-1s indeed. Waves are in pretty extreme positions in these side lanes, though. You can see a big wave pushed in. They might even be able to get a plate here. It would be a bit of a risk to stay for this one. Are they going to be able to do it?
They probably can, because both members of Scoop City are so low that they don't even have to take it on this wave. They can wait for the next, and there's no kill potential from the side of Scoop City. Yeah,
there is Jelly waiting in the wings, doing the Krugs and looking maybe for a gank. Definitely they are a little bit vulnerable here, but it looks like they're just going to be good with taking that plate. Oh, it looks like they didn't even take the plate. They're just very
if they let the plate go down here and they deny the gold, looks like they did.
Yep, there we go. So they don't get the plate. It's a substantial amount of money not gained by Casually Reformed, who are well ahead in this lane. Definitely, Caitlyn Morgana can be very difficult to deal with early on, especially with that crowd control stacking. And of course, the potential of Jelly there to gank was enough to make Casually Reformed go back and spend that money. You can see
Hold
the new
on.
quiver
Runs behind him, only to get flipped back to the front. They're opting into this fight. The Urgot ulti goes wide so far, and in comes bodybuilding. The teleport comes through the Destiny Gate, and that is a kill over to this Twisted Fate.
Yeah, there we go. Bodybuilding already showing the presence on the map from the Twisted Fate. Just caught the recall on Royal and was able to teleport in. Daniel, you know, definitely was getting the better of those trades, but you've got to be aware of when that level 6 is coming in from the Twisted Fate. This game isn't a 1v1, and that's sort of the way Daniel was treating it just then. So Jelly definitely has got to kind of match this pressure. Sejuani hasn't been needed much in these early game skirmishes yet. Kha'Zix sort of has been needed. And so even though Scoop City will have a bit of a lead here, they could definitely be extending it quite a bit further if Casually Reformed don't do something about it.
Something to note is, with the comp that Scoop City are running, looks like they actually want to play around Twisted Fate almost. He's taken Electrocute, he's taken Ignite, he's taken this carry sort of build rather than the Spellbook TP utility TF you normally see. And he's got both of the first 2 kills. So the Kha'Zix that I initially thought would be the focal point, turns out he might not end up being that. And that kind of makes me question why exactly Kha'Zix hasn't picked up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just maybe just a comfort pick for Jelly. Very good on that champion. But yeah, you know, if you're trying to activate the Twisted Fate, you'd rather have some sort of crowd control. Hang on, though. Jelly coming in.
Hold up the Disdain to get away. Will it be enough? There's going to be a couple flashes expended. That means they have no flashes to run away as Sean comes in. Can he get the lockdown? The 4th hit. Will the stun come through? It will not, as Sean himself is forced back out of that fight. Death Sentence, meanwhile, on the bot side will land, but so will that. Dark binding into the trap, into the chains. Where are you going to go, Aldre? Flash is going to have to be expended. Unable to block the ace in the hole, but he still gets out by the skin of his teeth. So much action, but so little kills.
Yeah, no kills. We'll see if Sean changes that one out.
Might change here. Nope. Sean gets away as well. Will lose his Krug still for it, though.
Yeah, loses a camp, but good Q over the wall there for Sean. Manages to escape. You can see kind of the goon squad heading up into the jungle to try and bully out that Sejuani. Already Jelly has gotten a substantial farm lead here. And, pardon me. You can also see the farm lead from the Caitlyn.
That Dark Binding lands. It doesn't matter if you have your E. You're getting sent back to the fountain, my friend. And so is the Urgot. The 1-for-1 pattern that we saw in that last game continues in this one.
Yeah, here's the replay of that kill in bottom lane. Maiden ADC again getting caught out. You've got to stay behind those minions, Maiden ADC. There we go. The Q comes in, and finally Morgana. But then the kill up top, it's Daniel just using those shotgun knees to his best ability, but cannot find it. Bodybuilding now in trouble.
Oh, he's going to have to flash away from that one. The parallel convergence not going to be quite far enough to be able to catch up to him. And now he himself is in a bit of trouble. Royal going to slow him down with that W. He's isolated, the Echo is, but in comes Sean. Here's the backup, and that Chrono Break goes right onto Bodybuilding, and he's going to get that shut down. Then comes the Glacial Prison. Then comes the second kill. That was so well played from Royal.
Excellent work there from Royal. We know he is a mechanically skilled player and is able to do these outplays in mid. Uh-oh, are they going to run into the support here?
Another kill over to the side of Casually Reformed. That's 3 with no response, and things are getting kind of dicey for the side of Scoop City with how they're running these right into him.
It's just always a possibility that Scoop City just takes it too far a few plays in a row and kind of throws that game away. So many of their series have gone the distance because of it. That looks like what's happening here. Royal, no
They're
ult.
looking for a response here. Parallel convergence will come down. Grant him that shield, but Royal, will he be able to run away? Stack deck, not enough to take him down, and he's out of there, but no! In comes the shot from Ezreal, and that's going to be 1 kill answered for the side of Scoop City now.
From downtown, Maiden ADC is on the board, and that's a great ultimate coming in from him with the True Shot Barrage, taking out Royal, who did have a shutdown on him, I believe, and so nice little boost of gold for the Ezreal. It does, it doesn't give them control of the Dragon Pit, so Casually Reformed are able to take that one, but Scoop City might be looking for a way back into this one. Remember, Dinsbag is still very strong up here on this set. Daniel, even though he managed to get the counter break this time, does not have control of this lane whatsoever. So you've got to be relying on Dinsbag at this point with maybe some support from Jelly and Bodybuilding in order to win these team fights.
And Dinsbag's really just been showing how strong he is. It doesn't really matter if Urgot's got the Fear Beyond Death, if Urgot himself is dead by the time he uses it. Yep. And Dinsbag has been doing a really good job at making sure that's been what's happening.
Yes, he has. Definitely true. And oh,
Hold
bodybuilding
on.
going for
We
the
got
flank.
another gank coming in. Fear Beyond Death is still on cooldown for the Urgot, so this is bodybuilding's window to try and get a pick here. No flash on this TF means that he probably won't be able to follow up if Urgot
Oh,
manages to dash, but he doesn't. And that spells his doom. 6th kill on the board for Scoop City as they're looking to continue trying to even this one back out in the kill count.
yeah, it's just back and forth, back and forth. Neither of these teams able to get a foothold on this game yet. Rift Herald is available, and it's wide open for Jelly. Not sure if he's going to decide to go for that one as first turret's already going down. Looks like he's more interested in covering lanes. But yeah, first turret going over to Dinsbag, who has just amassed such a gigantic gold lead over his lane counterpart in Daniel. Once again, we are going to see that set. That set's not getting outscaled anytime soon. So powerful with those team fights and with that, that 1v2, 1v3, even 1v4 potential that the set has. Scoop City, well, even though they did have a couple of wild plays, they might still be in position to take this
Dinsbag, he's got the same old army on his tail. 3 people looking to take out this set, and that for sure is going to spell his end. Shutdown goes over to Royal. This Echo now actually getting a little bit stronger than maybe you would want him to be.
Definitely. Yeah, Royal, and we know Royal is good on this champion, good on these playmaking and, mechanically intensive champions. So we're going to see if he's able to continue to get those kills, and getting a big shutdown is great.
This might be another one on the list for your board. Royal, as bodybuilding is caught out. Ignite goes down, but it's Sean that ends up taking that one. True Shot Barrage going to split the pins a little bit, not finding its target in Royal, and casually reformed, making sure that they still manage to solidify their spot in this game. Still down in gold, but they're making sure to get these picks where they can.
Yeah, they do have the dragon as well, so we'll see if they can continue to get that objective control here. And you can see Jelly in the river, maybe looking for something, but he's being collapsed upon, and yeah, Jelly's got to get out of here, and I don't know if
Sean,
he can.
is Sean gonna... No, he does not have the Glacial Prison, so he's just gonna run up and try to get those 4 hits on him. 1, 2, 3, 4, into the freeze, into most likely the kill, donated over to Harley. That one goes.
Yeah, that's really valuable for Harley to be able to grab that. Kha'Zix able to get another kill for the Caitlyn. Harley has such a great situation here with the Caitlyn because in the absence of Jelly, it's just so difficult to get onto this Caitlyn while Harley's on that doing damage from the backline. It's going to be really difficult, and they don't have a really beefy tank. Here we go, though, TF.
Coming through. Destiny Gate is there. The Everfrost to lock down that Caitlyn. She's got no way out of that one. Now Sean is stuck in no man's land as the gold card comes through. The Ignite comes through. All the damage comes through, and is that going to be a second over to Scoop City? It is not. Gonna get the one pick, though, and I'm sure they're happy with that one.
Definitely happy with that. Taking out Harley, able to take this turret as well, and getting them to back off. Dinsbag continuing to be a nuisance in the top lane. They don't get the tower, though.
Royal's coming through. He's looking to defend the turret. He wants that ADC, and he's gonna flash and get him. Bodybuilding now. It's a 1v1. But Sean's coming down quickly to make that a 1v2. He does have that prison. He's going to throw it. He's going to throw it wide. He's going to miss it. 1v1 between the TF and the Sejuani. It's going to be won by the Sejuani. Now it's all up to Aldre. Can he win the 1v2 as that support? Doesn't look like he will be able to. He gets the hook, but he gets feared beyond death. And death is where he finds himself back in that fountain.
Daniel puts him in the meat grinder. Here's the replay. Bodybuilding played this one pretty well considering, but just didn't end up with the damage, and now Aldre tries to come in for the 1v2, and even against Royal, he wasn't going to win this, but he does hit a nice hook. I just want to shout out Aldre. Nice little hook there onto the Echo, who was using that parallel convergence.
Hold on, Dinsbag opts into this fight. He's not running away. He's running in, and he's going to get that suplex into the kill. Can he get a double? He can. Now it's a 1v1. Him versus Daniel. Does he have the lifesteal? He does not. Gets shotgun knees, but that's still a 2-for-1. Can it be a 2-for-2? Jelly, that's not where you want to be, my friend. Get on out of that one.
Yeah, Jelly.
And he will.
Just slips by those traps on the way out. And yeah, Jelly is really struggling to find purchase in this game, just not able to do much on the Kha'Zix, and it's so difficult to play that champion if you don't have some good items set up in the early game, and Jelly just didn't get them. He's nowhere near a completed item yet. He had to go for Merc Treads, and it's just really difficult for Kha'Zix to make an impact into this game here. Dragon has spawned. Scoop City do have control of that area for now, but probably not enough to try to go for this as they don't have the Scuttle Crab taken. So they're just going to have to try to protect that Dragon, maybe continue to look for picks here. True Shot Barrage doesn't find the blue buff. And yeah, you know, there's tension around this Dragon, but what do you even do as Scoop City here?
I don't know. Dinsbag doesn't have his TP, and that's not someone you want to be fighting without. And
Yeah.
speaking of him, I am still hugely impressed with him. It seems like every single time he uses his showstopper, he's getting double kills, triple kills. And this isn't something that you really expect from a Set either. Set is known to be really strong on those side lanes, and he's really good at finding these flanks and setting up the rest of his team. But Dinsbag is actually really the one that's been putting his team on his back.
He absolutely is. He's just so reliably wins lane and so reliably is able to draw jungle pressure as well. And look at this. He's all the way to the inhibitor turret here.
All up on Daniel too, making sure he's got no respite in this lane, finding the facebreaker onto the opposite side of the minion. In comes the haymaker. He's looking for another one, but the fear beyond death finally takes him out as that fight breaks down on the top side. Jelly gets caught in that prison. He's gonna get sent right back to the fountain first. Now the chase is on, looking for that Scoop City bot lane. Is Casually Reformed, and are they going to be able to catch him? Ezreal's got quite a lot of damage kiting back, but will it be enough? First kill onto Sean is found. Can he find the second? Onto Murphy. He can. No, that's Harley, excuse me. Now it's onto Murphy. Can it be the triple made in ADC? 1, 2, 3, lines them up and knocks them all down.
Made an ADC with a great play here. You can see he's starting to poke already. This looks like they're completely doomed, but the True Shot Barrage hits Murphy. He gets out of the chains very critically there, and instead of focusing Murphy, he goes for Harley first to prevent the damage onto himself. That was a great decision by Maiden ADC. It allowed him to get that 1v3 and get the triple kill there. So Maiden ADC wasn't dominant in the beginning of this game. They were definitely losing out to the Caitlyn Morgana, but that type of play is the type of thing that can really get you back in the game. And Maiden ADC is really starting to scale up on this Ezreal.
Yeah, and they were really, really underestimating the Ezreal. Just because he's 0-3 doesn't make him not Ezreal. Ezreal is superb when you get into these open areas and allow him to kite back. He's just hitting Mystic Shot. And there is no response coming from the side of Casual Reform that whole time.
Yeah, they focused over onto Aldre, and I suppose you have to say that's a mistake. They should have gone onto the Caitlyn, or onto the Ezreal, but it's so difficult if he's not the one who gets hit by the chains. Jelly now playing with fire here.
And yes, he is, and it looks like he's going to get burned quite literally as that Ignite goes down, and that sends him right back to where he came from. Now it's going to be Dinsbag looking for 4. He gets them all so low, but he cannot find a single one.
I just can't help but laugh at Dinsbag doing that kind of thing, man. He just is so
That's just so Dinsbag,
committed.
man. That's why you love to see him.
Goes into a 1v4. He almost is successful with it too, but unfortunately he's just not quite far enough ahead to do that kind of thing. Even with the 2 completed items. So that's still going to be Casually Reformed, continuing to find ways back into this game. You can see, though, how effective Scoop City are at pushing lanes. They have so many turrets down, and once again, we saw this exact same situation arise last game, where Casually Reformed, they had the kill lead. They might even have been close in gold and maybe even objectives, but they just are so behind on towers and map control. Scoop City, even with the chaos that they bring, they do a great job of prioritizing where they need to be pushing, and in particular, Dinsbag is so good at drawing pressure to allow them to do that.
It really is just Dinsbag, though, isn't it? He's on these side lanes. He's bashing those turrets. He's drawing 4. And that just leaves the map so open. And when they don't go for Dinsbag, he's up on your Nexus turrets at that point.
Yep. Yeah, he is really putting the team on his back to a certain extent here, but Maiden ADC starting to really get some damage going as well on that Ezreal. We've seen the Muramana completed now, the Essence Reaver as well, and the cooldown boots. We'll see what comes next. You often do see a Duskblade in this situation, but that Mythic is not the most important part of the build, so we'll see. I'm curious to continue to track that. In any case, though, we do as well, see bodybuilding on a good amount of items there. Lichbane completed, so some burst there. And bodybuilding and Dinsbag are overshadowing each other at the top side here, maybe trying to bait some sort of collapse, but there's only 2 of them, so I'm not sure what these other 3 members of Scoop City are doing right now.
And I mean, they're looking for collapse, but look at what's coming for them.
Uh-oh.
That's the whole cavalry regiment coming right from the back, and Bodybuilding doesn't spot this one out. No Destiny Gate to see them coming. Is he just going to stay in that bush? Is he going to leave Dinsbag to his death? No, he's a good friend. He's coming out to try and fight, but is that a mistake? Yes, it is. Donating 2 more over to the side of Casually Reformed. Probably should have just stayed in the bush, my friend.
It is a huge mistake. You need to use the Destiny's Gate and get the hell out of there right now, because that is not the right call. Aldrei's going to get caught out as well.
And another donation. It's like Goodwill up in this one. And look at that. Looking down the Goodwill aisle, what's down there? It's a Baron. We're picking that one up too. The shopping spree for Casually Reformed. And looking a little bit doomed as the donation spree continues, making ADC in some trouble as well.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit out of sorts there, maybe in the shop or something like that. But using the True Shot Barrage doesn't manage to find anything.
And
with
he's
that
staying?
One.
He has the audacity to stay here? What? Man, that's so greedy. And Sean was AFK for a second there, I think. Or he was in the shop. Jelly looking for a pick, but he just does no damage. He is 0-5. He's barely got his first mythic done. And in fact, Sean just says, "Get out of my face, bro." Slaps him out, sends him back. Now it's Royal's turn, though. He was there to back up his buddy, but he just gets bashed in the face. Wild, wild, wild. Casually Reformed just by themselves have over a kill a minute, not factoring in Scoop City on the other side.
This is complete chaos on the Rift right now. There's just fights going all over the place that seem to have no relation to each other or to where anybody else is on the map. And because of that last kill, the Dragon is likely going over to Scoop City. So they're going to deny that Mountain Soul for at least a little bit longer here as they
hold on. Destiny Gate is used. They're looking for something. They're looking for Harley. He's in the middle of no man's land, though. He wants to try and turn it. Can they find the pick on a TF? They can. 1-for-1 is how it's traded out. True Shot Barrage misses its intended target, but its intended target will still die. Fear Beyond Death will send Dinsbag a running. He's still got that Haymaker shield, but he will not be given the chance to use it, as he is sent back as well. Daniel with the double, and Casually Reformed, their whole squad looking strong as they continue the barrage. No rest for Scoop City.
Yeah, at this point, Sean is able to stack that crowd control so effectively along with champions like the Echo that it's just so difficult for Dinsbag even to do the sort of plays he was doing last game with the 1v2 stuff. You know, that crowd control, he didn't even get to use the Haymaker in that fight. He was just not able to get out of stun early enough. And so Sean really making an impact here on this Sejuani really starts to shine once you've got, you know, consistent damage dealers fed up a little bit and you've got a lot of tankiness on that Sejuani. It starts to become such a difficult thing to deal with here for Scoop City. So Aldrey once again might get caught out.
On pick after pick after pick, and Aldrey looks to be the next on the chopping block. Death Sentence, though, stops the Echo from looking any further, and he will live to tell this tale this time.
Going to live this time. We'll see if they can continue to live in this game here. And reminder, Casually Reformed looking to take this series to game 2.
Taking turret aggro. What are you doing that for, Morgana? He gets knocked down, and this is a 4v5 engage coming through. Will this be Scoop City finding a win where they really shouldn't? Dinsbag onto the backside, 1v4 now, as his team has all left him for the other world, and he will join them inside of Urgot's belly as Casually Reformed take that win.
There we go. And so, yeah, Maiden ADC gets the fight off, gets the ult off at first, but all they do is kill the support. And so this huge ultimate coming in from Dinsbag. Look at Ezreal. He's down in the in their base. He just cannot contribute at all. He just was not able to do anything there. And so, yeah, Casually Reformed easily take that fight because of the lack of damage coming in. Bodybuilding, like you said, you know, even though it's a bit of a more carry-focused TF build, he's still TF. He's still not going to be doing some crazy teamfight damage the way somebody like an Ezreal can or somebody like an Echo can. And so that's why Scoop City aren't able to take that one. Now the map control even starts to turn around the other way. There is mostly an even turret score here, within 1 anyway, and Casually Reformed are just massively ahead in kills right now.
Yes, they are. And Bodybuilding, this is actually a dangerous fight. Royal actually has a lot of kill pressure himself, so not opting to continue that one out. And One of the big things that I'm really disappointed with this game is, I don't really want to be mean, but CECS has been completely useless.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well, you know, oh,
actually, Royal himself might find himself in that useless category as he waits to respawn. But point still stands. Jelly, this game.
yeah. Well, and Jelly is sometimes their star player, you know. He really sometimes pops off and completely destroys the enemy team. This time he just could not find those opportunities to grab those kills, and it just feels like you've got to go for some other champion instead of Kha'Zix if there's that risk, because you're having such difficulty contributing right now. The dragon is spawning in 115, and so nobody's anywhere near Soul yet. Casually Reformed looking to go to Soul Point, but Scoop City have the potential to find picks. They already just found one on Royal there, who's still down. They're trying to get more map control, trying to secure more vision. Casually Reformed really need to stick together. They cannot afford to get picked off. Even though they're way ahead in kills, they're not that far ahead in gold, and there is still the potential for Scoop City to find those picks and take objectives off of them.
I mean, when it really comes down to it, like you said, neither team is close to Soul. I would
Yep.
rather see the stronger team fork the Baron in this instance. They can
Yep.
afford to give up a Mountain Drake. But
Yep.
forking the Baron would allow them to get more of the standing gold, would be able to allow them to pinch their opponent more, and might even be able to end the game with how this has been going so far.
Yeah, I'm curious to see whether Casually Reformed decide to do that. I think that they have the opportunity to do it, and I think it's the right call because they have trouble, you know, collapsing on a lead. That's been one of their issues over the course of this season, and you know, something like a decisive Baron play would go for that, but instead they're going to go for this dragon fight.
Looks like they're going for the Drake. I'm not sure if this is the smart decision, but they should still win it out either way, given the current state of the game. First collapse is on a Daniel, but while they're off on Daniel, their own backline is being taken care of. A whole collapse coming through. First two picks going down. Casual Reformed finding two, finding three. It's all up to this TF to 1v5, but I don't think that's a thing that's even remotely possible. Bodybuilding sent back into the gym for another round. That might just be the end of the game if they can pick up this Baron.
On
I
live, we
don't
see
think
they're
there's any
heading
way
to
for them to
Baron.
come back from this.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. You see the fight coming in, and at this point, it's just a death ball. Dinsbag trying to go in, but he just doesn't have the damage anymore. It's only bodybuilding left at the end. Ends up getting chased down as well. Baron's going to go, and you can see Royal as well is pushing this mid lane. Going to grab that inhibitor. Caitlyn's taking the dragon at the same time. They're taking 3 objectives at once,
Yeah,
Casually Reformed.
you
They
get
got
this
so much off of that team fight.
You get this Baron, I think it's over, man. I think the game's
Yeah.
just over here. I mean, I gotta give it an honorable effort from Scoop City to even be still in this game. They are down 20 kills.
Yeah.
If you went up to any random League player and said, hey, this team's down 20 kills, and they're still putting up a little bit of a fight, I think they'd be a little bit surprised at that.
They definitely would, yeah, especially when you consider these team compositions as well. That team fight power you can just see from Casually Reformed. They just barrel down on the enemy team, and you just don't have the damage, you don't have the counter engage or the disengage in order to deal with it. So, you know, you have to rely on Maiden ADC staying alive, somehow avoiding this echo, and being able to continue to poke throughout the entire team fight. That's the only way you can win a Scoop City right now. Dinsbag's set shenanigans are not going to be sufficient here. And now that Casually Reformed is on Soul Point, they can absolutely split the Baron and Dragon decision next time. The cooldowns aren't quite lined up exactly, but they're close enough. And so if you set up the map properly, you can just completely... If you play this properly, there's no way Scoop City should be able to come back.
Absolutely not. And Jelly, speaking of coming back, I don't think he was ever in this game to begin with.
Oh,
He's just
yeah.
going right back to where he started this one, into the gray screen.
It's not his game.
He's got to look to just regroup and focus on the next game, if I'm him.
He played well in game 1. You know, we know that Jelly's got the potential to do some really great things on the jungle, but not this game, that's for sure. Not able to get anything done here on this Kha'Zix at all. So, yeah, it just feels like delaying the inevitable at this point for Scoop City. We'll see if they continue to go for it. We'll see what they continue to do, but you're starting to talk about Game 3 at this point for sure, and it's very interesting to see what kind of adjustments might be made for Game 3, because a lot of volatile plays means it's hard to judge these games, the results off of team compositions alone.
Yeah, and as you said, The clock is ticking. It's delaying the inevitable. Royal's already brought that minion wave down towards the bot side. This death ball is just to keep them locked in on the top side, but Dinsbag wants to go out with a bang. He gets flipped with the disdain into a 3-man haymaker. Is that enough damage to lift for any play? It is not. A double over to the side of Harley. Make sure that that little insurrection will be put down where it stands. Royal, in the meantime, didn't even have to join this fight. That was a 4v5, and that looks to be the end of the game. 30 seconds on Dinsbag, 33 on bodybuilding. Jelly at least gets some sort of consolation prize this game before going down once again.
Jelly finally got a kill, so we definitely can rejoice about that, but it is going to signal the very end of the game as Casually Reformed are going to bring this game to a third in the series as they finish off the Nexus here. Casually Reformed equalize up against Scoop City.
Silver Scrapes, boys. We're going to a game 3, and oh boy, you really gotta cleanse your mind of that game.